What if the biggest WNBA controversy isn't about Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese at all, but about a system most people never bothered to understand? Because the moment you look past the headline, past the social media noise, something very different starts to show up. Let's start here. A 1 million demand. That's what gets said publicly. Angel Reese speaks out, questioning why the numbers feel uneven, calling for a higher base salary, even pushing that seven-figure mark. And instantly, the internet explodes. People pick sides. Arguments form. Comparisons start flying everywhere. But while everyone is debating emotion, the league is running on something else entirely. Cold math. And that math is sitting inside a document most fans have never read. The WNBA Collective Bargaining Agreement. Inside, it is a rule that changes everything about this conversation. It's called the EPIC Clause. Exceptional performance on initial contract. And it doesn't care about height. It doesn't care about popularity. It doesn't care about who is trending on a given night. It only cares about one thing: production. If a player earns all WNBA honors within their first 3 seasons, they don't slowly climb the salary ladder like everyone else. They get accelerated, fast track, recalculated into a higher bracket based on verified performance. No opinions, no narratives, just results. Now here's where the story shifts. Caitlin Clark triggers it in her rookie season. First team all WNBA. Immediate impact. Immediate adjustment in her contract pathway. Not because of marketing, not because of name value, because the system says so. But she's not alone. Aaliyah Boston goes from roughly $94,000 to $574,000 under the same structure. That's not a rumor or a fan theory. That's the clause doing exactly what it was designed to do: reward performance. And this is where the conversation gets uncomfortable for a lot of people, because once you understand that, the idea of favoritism starts falling apart. The system doesn't pick favorites, it picks output. Now compare that to Angel Reese's situation. She enters the league as a high draft pick, 7th overall in 2024. That alone gives her a strong starting salary compared to lower pick, around $350,000. But draft position has limits. It gets you in the door. It doesn't guarantee acceleration. That next level only comes from all WNBA recognition. And after 2 full seasons, that box is still unchecked. No all WNBA selection. No second or third team nods. Nothing that triggers the EPIC clause pathway. That's the part people miss when they only look at headline comparison. Because the gap people are arguing about isn't just between 2 players. It's between players who triggered the system and players who haven't yet. And the numbers reflect that across the board. Cameron Brink, 2nd pick in the same draft class, climbs to around $493,000 despite injury setbacks. Sonia Citron, 3rd pick, sits higher than Reese after contributing to a deep playoff run and steady two-way production. Reese, despite being a top pick, lands below both, not because of narrative, because of output over time. And while all of this is happening on court, something else is building off court that changes the entire perception of this rivalry. Caitlin Clark's commercial explosion. Nike, Gatorade, State Farm, Wilson. These aren't random endorsements. These are long-term, high-investment deals from companies that don't gamble lightly. Nike alone commits a massive multi-year signature deal after evaluating attendance spike, ratings growth, and merchandise demand. Gatorade builds a signature product line that sells out quickly. State Farm breaks a century-long pattern of not anchoring female athletes in national campaigns. Wilson creates a signature line comparison that puts her in the same internal category as Michael Jordan. That's not hype. That's corporate math responding to demand. Now contrast that with Reese's endorsement path. A major brand push early on. Real investment, real visibility. But over time, momentum slowed. Marketing presence shrink. Retail performance struggles to maintain early expectation. And in business, silence is rarely neutral. It usually signals recalibration. So now you have 2 different trajectories happening at once. One driven by rising production and rising commercial value. The other still developing, still trying to find consistency that matches the expectations set at century. And this is where the 1 million demand becomes the turning point. Because the timing matters just as much as the message. At the exact moment that demand goes public, three things are already sitting in the background. Clark is being ranked among the most influential athletes in sport. Her brand portfolio is expanding across multiple global companies, and her on-court performance continues to meet the highest recognition standards in the league. So, when the comparison hits social media, it doesn't land in a vacuum. It lands against verified systems already evaluating both players differently. And here's the part that makes everything more uncomfortable for the public conversation. The epic clause doesn't respond to demand. It doesn't respond to statement. It responds to all WNBA production. That's it. So a 1 million request, no matter how loud or viral, doesn't change the formula. It only changes the conversation around the player making it. And that's where the real twist is. Because the backfire isn't just about salary numbers, it's about timing meeting structure. When the system is based on measurable output, public pressure doesn't rewrite the map. It highlights who is inside the accelerated lane and who is still trying to enter it. Clark's path reflects one trajectory. Reese's reflects another still in progress. And the league is sitting in the middle, recalculating every season based on what actually happens on the floor. So the real question isn't who deserves more or who should be paid what. It's something simpler and a lot harder to ignore. When the next all WNBA list drop and when the next contract shift happens, who will the system reward next? And more importantly, what will that say about everything we thought we knew today?